live right now on our YouTube channel, Maria and Sunday, where we can stream to all of you around the world. And welcome, welcome. So, my name is Maria Semple, and today I am bringing you the seizing opportunity. What it's all about is about strategic networking, and I wanted also to give you a recap of what has been happening over YouTube Lives for so this is our fourth one. So in our first YouTube Live, I address discover the shift to break free from overwhelm and pursuing your aspirations in life. In our second week of YouTube Live, and I am learning so much in doing this, it was all about crafting your purpose statement. And I gave you some specific prompts for you to have some time with yourself to go through these prompts and craft your purpose statement. And that was I really felt when I did this exercise that it was magic for me, and I still remember nearly 25 years ago or more. And the third YouTube Live was about building milestones to fulfill your vision. And I acknowledge that the problem here, and you know what you want, what you would like to, and many of you may not know yet what you want fully and completely, but achieving it seems sometimes very daunting. And you can watch the episode again in the YouTube Live, and with a notepad and your pen, you can write down some strategies to bring those milestones to life to fulfill your vision. Well, but today is all about seizing opportunities through strategic networking. And I am so pleased to be here. We are in Melbourne, we are live, and I am so excited to be here with all of you. So, right now, then, what is the one thing that is holding you back from unlocking that massive field of opportunities? And the answer might surprise you. So most people miss out, and because they feel a little bit afraid of, and they feel the fear of failure to connect with the right people at the right time. But today I'll show you on how you can use one strategy to create powerful networks and to fuel their growth. That will be. But there is a problem. There is a problem that, well, it's not only because of the pandemic, but you might feel isolated in your journey and unsure how to connect with the right people who can help you grow your network, but also the right people. Yes, that is an important point to address here. So, doing it alone really can limit the opportunities. We are never really, every successful person cannot say that they did it alone. They just have other connections around them, and they have cultivated these connections. So that is why collaboration is the secret to success. And the solution here that you I want you to contemplate is that, well, exploring strategic networking can open doors and create lasting and impactful relationships. I belong to a networking group that I can say it has added so much joy, but also opportunities in my life, and I haven't looked back. But I wanted to try to play a song to you that I had prepared, and it was a recommendation for this specific and is Bruno Mars, Count on Me. And I think it is important that we celebrate and we celebrate that others can count on us. And yes, so I think this is a great theme for today. And I will get better at this. Plugging my sound system. You can count on me, yeah. 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. Yes, count on me. All right, that's enough, right? Let's get on with our class today. So, this is again, this week we are discussing the importance of networking, as I mentioned before, and we'll talk about how you can start cultivating connections that will lead to meaningful connections and growth, collaborations and growth. And for those of you that don't know me very well yet, my name is Maria Semple. I live currently in Melbourne with my dog Sunday, and I travel the east coast of Australia in a camper van. During that time, after I have completely given up the ups and downs of my contract job and the disappointments, I decided to do more of what I love. And I am here committed fully to grow my coaching practice and to work with those women and people, especially I specialize in women that want to reclaim the vision of themselves and bring new aspirations to life while they are working full time. So, I want to share with you a definition. So, strategic networking is a process of intentionally building relationships with like minded people, like minded individuals, and could be connecting with organizations as well, but it's mostly with individuals who you will be sharing common goals, values, and even vision, because there is an expression, I think it was Jim Rohn, that said, you are the average of the 5 people that are you are connected with or closer to you. But think about it. Our relationships reflect also our aim. So it is important that we connect with others that share our values, our visions, and even they help us in our professional and personal endeavors in life. So, when you attend a meeting or you run an event, this is important. This is more than just handing business cards. It is about asking genuine questions and applying the good skills of listening intentionally. So it's about forming long lasting connections. It is important for all of us to exercise that. And how do we do that? We applied genuine interest in the other person and asked it. And remember, people that are like each other, they like each other. For example, if you discover that that person went to the same school or they were born in the same country, or if they study something similar, so people that are like each other, they like each other because that is a common point for you to start a conversation. So here, think about strategic networking like you are tending to a garden. We carefully, and I had been a gardener myself for many years. Right now I do care for a garden, but it's somebody else's. You carefully select the seeds and the little seedlings and the plants that you want to put in your garden, and you people connect with. And so when you're planting that, you are planting the seed to connect with new people. You also nurture the plants, so you nurture these new relationships over time, and eventually those seeds will grow and into something beautiful that benefits not only yourself. It doesn't have to be a benefit for yourself, but you also benefit others with your knowledge, with your passion that you're sharing with them, with helping them. Remember also, we all stand in the shoulders of giants. Once upon a time, once in a life, we all have done that. So that is what I wanted to share here. So mutual support open also opportunities. Well, you will say that as a woman that I was born in Venezuela, I'm a Latina woman. So I've been in Australia for 37 years. But here I get comments about my passion for making genuine connections and being hospitable in many ways. So some of my friends said to me, it is so easy for you to make friends. I will confess that sometimes it's not so easy. It's just that I put an effort to be genuine and to show that I care genuinely. But I also wanted to mention to you, and I wrote about this in the in my book, Everyday Stories for 10 from 10 Remarkable Women. And there is an expression in Venezuela that says, where two eat, three can eat. And that justifies that you can go and knock on somebody's door at dinner time and feel welcome to attend that dinner, even though you have not been officially invited. But here in Australia, this is a little bit more difficult to do. Not many people go knocking on the door of a friend unexpectedly and at dinner time and expect to be invited for dinner. And so this is something that comes naturally, sometimes with many cultures that are warm, like the Latin culture. They are hospitable and warm in their DNA. And I can testify that also for times that I went to visit Venezuela, and people really connected me with people I never knew, and they immediately opened their hearts to help me. So, why is this a problem? Why, when we are not connecting with the right people, it is a problem? Do you know the timing, the one thing of key action that could get you the results of your successful networking? Well, if you miss that window of opportunity, you could lose opportunities. That's right. You could lose the momentum to connect genuinely with others. And that is okay. This not doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. It means that there might be a different opportunity, and for you to then pay attention of what is it that you need to apply in that moment. So the biggest problem, how seizing the right opportunities can change a lot of things for you to reclaim the vision of yourself in life and in your career. So the biggest problem here is that sometimes we may not know how to approach the person, or in a bustle and hustle of a networking event, it can be noisy and it is quite overwhelming at times to connect individually with someone. So what I suggest is perhaps sending a request to join you in a professional network or in your social media network, and then you can send in a message to connect on a one-on-one. Many of us avoid networking because it feels intimidating or unnecessary. And I could say that I had found it that way for myself. I enjoy making lots of connections virtually, but I find it quite overwhelming at times in person. I have hearing issues, and that has offered or prompted some challenges, personal challenges for me. So, why we avoid it? Many of us avoid networking for a few reasons. You can feel intimidated, and here it is that imposter syndrome that we can then project. Oh no, this is a group of professional people. I'm not as clever as them. Not as good as them or as wealthy as them. So it can feel intimidated. And I have also some steps for you to address these limiting beliefs, and I will be happy to help you with these as well. So the feeling that is unnecessary, it is another thing. We often think that I can do this on my own. Networking is only for extroverts and I am fine by myself. Well, let me break the news. Also, introverts need to connect with others. And I also will say that over the years, I am an extrovert by nature, but I have turned more inwards towards my own inner journey, inwardly towards my soul and my own company. So I can understand why people will often feel that is unnecessary. But all you need is one or two people to connect and then make a follow up. And some of the common myth here is that I want to challenge the idea that you have to be overtly outgoing or aggressive, and that this is that to be great at seizing new opportunities and networking, that you have to, just interrupt people and go and introduce yourself and shake their hands and say, stop your conversation and this is all about me. No, it doesn't have to be that way. It can be that some people in networking groups that I have attended, if we see somebody else that is a little bit shy or reserved, we'll welcome them in and ask them immediately, uh, what's your name, what do you do, and we had been talking about this and blah blah blah, so they can feel part of that conversation and not feel that they were invading. So why is this important? Network provides support for also fresh ideas and opens up, as I mentioned before, opportunities that might otherwise be out of reach. Well, I had been reaching out to podcasters, and yes, it has been amazing, saying that I have enjoyed listening to their podcast and the ideas that it has brought for me, and I had been invited to podcasts. So otherwise, if I didn't reach out genuinely, I may have missed out on these opportunities. So here it is. The uh, well, excuse me for a second. I have it is the hay fever season here in Melbourne and in Australia. Well, so support and the resources that you need. Networking is like having a reservoir of support. But here I invite you to maybe be a little bit clinical about it for a minute. And when you want to connect with specific people, you might not attract all of those networks immediately. So you need to be very clear. I want to attract connections with people that host podcast. So then you know specifically that you want to send a message to them. Then this reservoir of support, if you want to connect with jobs providers or companies, then look at these companies and what they are doing, and some of even stats that you can research on this company, and you can look into their um, profile over LinkedIn or social media page and check out what are they saying and what people are responding, and even then genuinely connect with that. So when you're stuck, you have people that you can turn for advice. So this is ideally the way. But sometimes in this modern day and age, we are bombarded by social media and noise. So you have to be very deliberate. Well, you don't have to, but if you want to keep some of your sanity, it is important for you to just be very deliberate. I wanted to say that in terms of opportunities, sometimes like job offers, partnerships, or collaborations, there is a hidden market that here studies in Australia and also in the USA indicate that 85% of job positions are filled through networking. And I am not quite sure if it's through 85%, but now when you apply for a job, you these organizations, they go searching for your social media profiles. That's why it is important also to teach our young ones to just start with a good name for their social media profiles. So there is that opportunity for growth in our mindset, because networking forces and offers that evolve of your own personal skills. And believe me, throughout the years, being when I came to Australia, English is uh, a second language. And by now, I have spoken English for 37 years, so much longer than I ever spoke Spanish, but I still have an accent. And I always felt that limiting beliefs, like we were talking before, oh no, I am not versed enough, I am not outspoken enough, I am not intelligent enough. So it can really help you. If you think that that is what is holding you back, what can you do about it? Practice more, be challenge yourself, then accept the challenge that you need to practice. And here you have seen me sometimes a little bit stumble in my words, and that is okay. I am genuinely honest with what I'm saying and communicating. And I am being also surrounding myself with like minded individuals, and that pushes me and pushes you, will push you to motivate yourself to continuously grow. Then I want to ask you if to think about someone that you admire or someone that you would like to learn from. So if you are doing this at home or listening to this at home, or you can come to this later, then maybe put their names or just say yes in the comments that you have thought of someone that you admire and that you would like to learn from, and that could help you with that process. You go and study this person, what are they doing well that you feel that you don't have. But I assure you, friend, that what you see in others, you also have it within you. You just need the courage to go ahead and do it. And that is quite important. So, how many minutes we been talking here? We've been, I think, 23 minutes of this lovely topic today that we're talking about seizing opportunities and strategic networking. And how will this solve a problem? Well, how to build a network, sometimes I've been saying it feels overwhelming, and sometimes it can feel like you're wasting your time on shallow connections. And this is quite a topic for a different time. However, I want you to feel the goodness in every person that you connect with, because you are the one choosing to connect specifically with these people. It doesn't have to be shallow, although we are all prepared sometimes to accept that some people want shallow conversation And that's okay. You can do that and then go on pursuing more of what you love. So there are the steps on how to create meaningful relationships that accelerate your growth without the stress of the traditional networking. But traditional networking, it is said that in 2025, there will be 75% of networking and will be face to face events coming back in 2025, certainly here in Australia. I am not sure, but you can put that in the chat as well. And let's see on our channel here. Yes. So building trust is the most important part of your strategic connections. Oh, it's quite noisy here. But so building trust, the more you actively seek connections, as I mentioned before, ask genuine questions, the more trust you build, well, the more trust you are also given. People will become comfortable with recommending you for opportunities, but it doesn't happen overnight. This is one of the steps in my program, Reclaim Your Vision, Rewrite Your Story. And really, it is quite important that seizing opportunities is a long-term investment in your future, in your relationships. It doesn't happen overnight. So creating that power of a network is surrounding with people that are right for you. And as I mentioned before, these connections is that if you want to connect with people in podcasts, then seek them and ask them questions. And yes, offer to comments about some of their episodes. And this is not just about getting something from others, it's also about providing value too. And that is part of what it happens in a network. I'm not sure if you have ever belonged to a mastermind group, but that comes from a network opportunity and is magic because the power of people being in the same call, the same moment when you express that you have a stumbling block and you know people brainstorm to offer you perhaps ideas or solution. Also networking, strategic networking helps us to overcome that loneliness that sometimes we think or feel about it. And we are disconnected in our world today, and it's possible that social media and the demands of social media, it really takes us to feel disconnected. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can be the change that you want to see in the world. And for especially for entrepreneurs, and if you are working from home, those that are also part of an organization and work remotely because they move to the countryside to have a better lifestyle or whatever, isolation can creep in. And also for those that are introverted, that they feel that the noise around them is too much for them to cope. So networking can break that cycle with providing you with human connections, the human interactions face to face. As I say, doesn't have to be too many all at the same time, and reinforcing that they need support and you also need that support and that sense of belonging. That's what networking does for us. Well, I want to share the principle here for from the law of reciprocity. And the idea is that when you help others first, they also are more inclined to help you later. That is what the law of reciprocity invites us to reflect and to do. And you can demonstrate this through real examples of your collaborations and thinking, oh, well, yes, that I helped someone in the past that had a similar situation and I can help you. Or would you like to chat about it? So it doesn't really have to be something that, you know, totally drastic. Okay, so here we are, and we have spoken now about. I want to share with you a mini challenge. Is on before that, I want to say that I feel the privilege to be here with you. Sometimes it is quite overwhelming, but I am here on this side of the screen, and you are all there on the other side of the screen, perhaps making comments on thoughts around all of these. And it's only through the power of your comments that I will be able to interact with you. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can come all to my live challenge, and I will tell you a little bit more about it later. So, where were we? Then, yes, that's right. So, here we are. I have a mini challenge for you, yes, and I want you to comment or message me about how many people you have reached out and how did it go? Yes, is that a mini challenge? How many people, since you watch this, have you really reached out to and how did it go? Yes, that can be a mini challenge. I would imagine that some of you would say, I have reached out to hundreds. And I know through my YouTube videos, I reach out to hundreds of people, which is a lot of fun. I will celebrate then those, and then if you send me a comment or a message, I will give you a shout out in the next live, which is next week, and I will tell you a little bit of what we are going to talk about next week as well. Yes. So now let's wrap up on this conversation or monologue that I have today with you all in the ether, in outer space. The strategic networking, it is essential for growing opportunities and your own personal growth. Whether you are looking to advance your career or bring new aspirations to life while you are working full time, the right network will help you accelerate your process and your progress. I urge you or encourage you to think very clear and have a list of who are the people that you want to connect with. So building a community around your vision, it gives you access to new ideas and resources. And as I mentioned in the previous live, the creating milestones, it is difficult if you don't know what you really want. But when you have a sense, it doesn't have to be right the first time, but I want you to try it. I want you to do it. And so this is about that building the community. It can help you with your vision, with the vision that you want to create of yourself and to access new ideas and resources. And that working doesn't just benefit you. It benefits everyone. If when you think about it, everyone that is involved, and I gave you that example of that mastermind group, everybody benefits from listening to each other and the examples of what one person is going through. And remember, wisdom, it also comes when you learn from the mistake of others or from the experience that others have gone through. That is also when wisdom starts kicking in, and your own wisdom will come with time as you age and mature and live fully. But also, when you network, you can apply what you are listening, what the other person is saying and sharing. You can apply it for your own life and ask yourself, what would happen if I had been in that situation? How would I have reacted? And you can always learn. Well, here it is. So if you are ready to build your network, I invite you to download my free checklist, and I'm going to put it in the comments here or in the description section. And this is about elevate your checklist. And these resorts will help you to achieve daily habits and build momentum towards your networking or the life that you want to create. And I will be creating an online event that will be then on the 20th of November at Australian Easter daytime of 10 o'clock in the morning. It goes for 3 days, each day at the same time. So it starts on the 20th, the 21st, and the last day is on the 22nd of November. I look forward to you to also letting me know that you want to register for this event. Well, here it is. Do you remember that I mentioned there is a percentage of people that can fill jobs through networking? Do you remember that percentage? What percentage of jobs are filled through networking here in Australia or in the USA? Well, that is 85% according to the stats. Well, I would love for you to connect with me, and remember that I want to thank you for being you and for doing what you are doing in the world. I want to thank you for tuning into this live. It gives me so much pleasure to be here. And I won't want to say the word vulnerable, but it is. I don't know everything. And I had my group of notes that guide me so I don't get lost in the forest while I'm talking to you. I'm paying attention to all these interactions as well. But my suggestion today, start building your network and let's support each other to reach our visions. And yes, my program is called Reclaim Your Vision and Rewrite Your Story. I had never looked back since I feel so passionate to share this with all of you on the world. Thank you so much once again, and I'll see you next week for another